Well, Kanye West is in more trouble this weekend, and this time not even conservatives seem to be getting his back. Kanye's Instagram account was restricted following some posts that he made about God's chosen people. He says, "I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people." The funny thing is, he says he can't actually be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jewish also. "You guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who ever opposes your agenda." Well, has he gone too far? Let's talk to my next guest. He's a consultant and a member of the tribe, David Whinery. Good morning, David. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Mr. Petersen.
Yeah, glad to have you here, David. So I saw your comments on Instagram. Do you want to kind of like lay out your case? What was your response to Kanye's tweet?
Well, I think I want to get a couple things out of the way. One, that I'm a very observant Jew. I'm a member of Plaza Abad. Those are the Jews that dress in all black, that tend to follow the Jewish religion in Orthodox fashion. And when I saw what Kanye said, the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith, I can't say that I'm a very big fan of theirs. My Jewish affiliations, I guess, more run with Republican Jewish Coalition than they would with the ADL, but it's not that but Kanye got ganged up on by all the Jews. And they even sent people like Puff Daddy out there to try to, neutralize his opinions of the Jews. But when he wears a shirt that says White Lives Matter, and the Anti-Defamation League says that opinion is somehow hateful, and then they even have the temerity to call Kanye West a white supremacist. That kind of echoes what they did to Larry Elder when he was running for governor of California. Another black conservative. They call him a white supremacist. And to me, that just reeks of are you allowed to have your own opinion based if you don't have if you're a black man, can you not have your own opinion? I know as being a Jew, I have opinions that are sometimes critical of the Jewish people, that are sometimes critical of the policies of Israel, that are sometimes critical of, say, some of our leaders like Dianne Feinstein and Chuck Schumer, that I have no love for at all as far as their policies in the U.S. Senate and, what their agenda is for America.
If you're just tuning in the show, I'm speaking with consultant David Whinery about Kanye West's comments about the Jewish people. Now, one of the things, David, that Kanye said that got him in trouble too was that he says, "Who do you think originated cancel culture?" He seemed to be alluding to the Jewish people, almost as if it was some kind of a Jewish conspiracy, if you will. And there's plenty of those going around, in terms of conspiracy theories. But what was your take on that? When he said, when he alluded to the idea that the Jews originated cancel culture, what was your take on that?
Well, my take on that is that the Jewish people, it's no stretch to say that they have a very influential role in the media. The people who run Google are Jewish. Mark Zuckerberg is Jewish. Plenty of the people that are, run CNN, run MSNBC, run the New York Times, all Jews. And so if you're going to have Kanye came out and say, well, the Jews are trying to cancel me out, it's kind of like what you were saying about PayPal in your last segment. They had to have consulted lawyers. They had to go all the way to the top. I'm sure, Zuckerberg is not consulted about getting rid of Kanye off his platform, especially someone with 26, 27 million followers on Instagram. I'm sure he's consulted. And so it's kind of hard for the Jews to say, well, we own all this part of the media. We are in leadership positions of this part of the media. If it were Catholics that ran it all, or any other type of people that ran it all, they would probably be lumped in and said, well, they're trying to cancel me out. And it's hard. Go
It's
ahead.
well, I was just going to say what's fascinating too, though, is that if you look at the people who originated the modern libertarian movement, as many of them were Jews as well. Murray Rothbard and Ludwig von Mises and many others. The
Milton
people who are
Friedman.
so it's so you find typically Jewish people, their influence is outsized to their population numbers. Their influence is much higher in terms of their influence in the media and in the government and in the arts, because why? I mean, like, why do you think it is that Israel is such a tiny nation, but they're number two when it comes to patents and copyrights and trademarks behind the United States? Why do you think that is, that the Jews have such a powerful influence beyond their numbers, David?
Well, I mean, you said it yourself. A member of the tribe. We tend to we tend to help each other. We tend to work with each other. We're always there to lend each other a helping hand. I know I've done a lot of work with Jewish charities, and I've also received a lot of help from over my course of my life from very influential Jews. And I think that as a people, I mean, even to bring in Louis Farrakhan, for example, even he has said that he wishes that the Black people were as united and can work together as well as the Jews do. So when you have a small, well organized group of people that are working together on something, I think that is why the Jews throughout history, and especially in today's world, we punch above our weight, so to speak, because we do help each other. Now, some people could call that nepotism. I mean, some people could call it, you know, what favoritism or whatever else you would like to say, but it is what it is with the Jewish culture. But I just think the Jews as a whole, when they do something and they do have a bad policy decisions, and they do have, like, censorship is a horrible policy decision. When you look at a lot of people that were thrown off Facebook and thrown off Instagram in the day, it seems like a lot of their popularity even rose, even after being thrown off the platforms. And then you also look at how Facebook right now is hemorrhaging money. They're firing people, they're laying off people. And I'm sure it's as a result of they've turned Facebook into this hive mind group think where if you have an opposing opinion, even if you were to say something like, I don't believe a man can get pregnant, which is a biological, indisputable fact.
Hate
I
speech,
mean,
hate
I saw
speech.
Dave. Yeah,
That's
I
a
saw Dave
$2,500
Chappelle.
fine on that one.
Yeah, you're done. I did empty out my PayPal account, but I recently saw Dave Chappelle at the Uptown Theater in Kansas City, and he kind of said the same thing. There's nobody in this audience that was not born from the womb of a woman. And how is it hate speech? I mean, I've read, like, in Europe, I think it was in Sweden, some woman who's a leading feminist in Sweden. I mean, she is facing a prison term now for saying that men can't get pregnant, that trans women are not women. I mean, this is simple biology, and they're the ones that are doing all this fact checking. And now they're going to throw people off of their platforms
Do you
for
think that
speaking biology.
do you think that, like, the censorship of Kanye contributes even more to his message then? Are you trying to say then that, like, by the ADL and many of these other groups calling, Kanye West's behavior anti-Semitic, and then by suppressing his voice, that it sort of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, like you're kind of proving him right in a way?
Well, I think it does. I mean, it kind of goes back to the old saying of, how Richard Nixon, when he first ran for Congress, the reason he won is because his opponent started attacking him. And you've been in politics a long enough time to know that once your opponent has to start attacking you, you're giving your opponent legitimacy. You're giving them more, whatever you want to say, you're giving them more popularity. You're making more people focus on him. I mean, had there not been the huge hullabaloo about his White Lives Matter shirt, how many people in America follow Paris Fashion Week? I know I don't. I mean, I didn't even know it was going on.
It's a good point, David. It's a good point. Some of our followers and listeners this morning are chatting and sending in messages. They're asking if you have a Twitter account. Do you have a Twitter account, David, or have you?
You know, I just have an Instagram account.
It's
I'm one of those people that when they, I don't know if this sounds good or bad, but when they threw Milo Yiannopoulos off of Twitter, I left. I mean, maybe I should have stayed and fought. I don't know.
I know that's kind of my strategy for it, but I can understand yours as well. David Whinery, he's a strategist and good friend of the show, and you can find him on Instagram at the Winery. That's at TheWhinery at the Winery over on Instagram. David, you're a good buddy and a good man. Thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate you very much.